Welcome. This is an informal video on how to navigate through the menu of the CAD controller for two materials. When you first turn on the control and hit OK, when you say that type of thing, there's a couple things you hit OK, you'll come to this screen. This is a very important screen. This is what we call the I/O screen, and it's really the screen that allows you to go between the menu of operating the machine and the actual control. What you see at the top is your inputs, and input number 1 will be highlighted if you're calling for material, so you can use that for troubleshooting. If you go down to Q, input number 1 is virgin material number 1. Q output number 2 is material number 2, output number 3 is the Venturi, and output number 4 is the blend. And they'll be highlighted when they're activated. So if you see them activated and you're not getting a signal at the solenoid valve, you would have a good idea that you've got a wiring problem. One of the other important features you can see here in the lower left corner right here, it says stop. That means that this control is in the stop mode, and you can change all the variables in the software, but it's not actually running, and it won't run the machine. It needs to be in the run mode. And after we go through the different setups here, we're going to come back to that and put it in the run mode, because I have something interesting to show you about that. So once you turn it on, you hit your OK a couple of times and you'll end up to this screen, and wherever you are you can get back to the screen by simply hitting the escape button until you see this screen. So let's get on with the program here. We want to go into the menu, and to do that we just hit select from this screen. And you notice the first thing that comes up is virgin load time and regrind load time. They're both currently set for 4 seconds. Typically that would be an appropriate setting, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. You don't want to overfill the sight glass because we want to blend, so the sight glass should be just about full done. And of course with the regrind, you have to have enough time, if you're running from a grinder, to completely empty the grinder each and every load. If we wanted to change one of these, we would just hit select, and I can just change the virgin load time to 3 seconds. I'll use the cursor to get to the digit I want to change. I'll hit select again. Now it's underlined, and I can use the up and down key to change it. I'm going to make it 3. I'm going to say OK and escape. Now if I wanted to change another number, I could just hit select and cursor on down to that. And this is relatively simple here. This is just a number of seconds each one will load. It will load the regrind first, and then it will load the virgin material. If we go down to the next screen, it's the blend time. 2 seconds is the time that it's virtually always set at. There's no reason to change that. It will always be a good time. I can't imagine making it longer or shorter in a normal operating circumstance. You can go down to Venturi delay, and what this is it delays the time from the time the material wand comes on to the suction, or vice versa. In case, like say you have a shop vac, you may want the shop vac to start first and then have the wand come on. This is not critical with a compressed air Venturi because they come off instantly. If you were to hook up a shop vac to the system, you would want the shop vac to have about a second to come on before you would start material. If you're running just a straight Venturi, I would set this at 1, which would be 1/10 of a second. So to do that, I'm going to hit select. I'm going to cursor down to that 4. I'm going to hit select again. I'm going to go down to 1. I'm going to say OK and escape, and I'm done with that. And basically the blend time and the Venturi delay, after you set it up the first time, you should never really need to touch these again. Now on the next page is the same story. Once you set this up, you should never have to change it again. This is something that makes the loader extremely easy to operate. It makes it possible to avoid going through most of what I just told you about how to navigate through the system. And this is what we call page 1 delay. It's currently set on 4 seconds. And what this does, if you just turn the control on and off, it will come up to the load material 1, load material 2 page, in this case for 4 seconds, which isn't long enough to do anything. I'm going to change that to 60 seconds. That's what I would recommend. So for a general operator, if they want to change the load times, which is all they should ever really need to change, just turn the unit on and off for a second and it will come right up to the page that you need to change it, and you just hit select and move the cursor over to that digit and make the change and select OK and escape. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to 60 seconds by hitting select. I'm going to come over here to this 0 digit, get the underline. I'm going to go up to 60, 6, and then I'm going to come over here and go down to 0 and select OK. So now when I go into the run mode or turn the unit on and off, I will see that page for 60 seconds, which is long enough to make a change without having to go through the menu. So let's see what happens. I'm going to hit escape here and escape back, and that's going to take us back to that transitional I/O page. And the reason I'm doing that is because we're in the stop mode. This unit will not run. And if you ever have a unit, you got power on it and nothing will happen, it's probably. Now note that as soon as we put it in the run mode, it's going to go into that material 1 and 2 load time page so that it's easy to change. So let's do that now. I'm going to hit escape from this page, and that gives me the menu. I'm going to come down to run, and I'm going to say OK, and it's going to ask me, do I really want it to run? Now when I say OK, it's going to go ahead and do that, and when I hit escape, I'm going to go back to that other page, and you're going to see right now immediately the load time and regrind time come up. So it's running now. It would actually run if we were to activate the material input switch. It would be running, and during this time you can change the virgin load time and the regrind load time. And when you turn the unit on and off with the on and off switch, even for a second, this is the screen that's going to come up right away. So if you need to change your times, all you need to do is turn it on and off, and for 60 seconds you can change the time. And now let's put it on and see what happens. Okay, immediately your 2 Venturis come on to feed the regrind. Then your virgin material is going to load, and then we're going to blend. So that's it. It's relatively simple. If you have any questions, 918-5820. Have a great day.